Barbara Dewey. Welcome to Have I Got Good News for You? Our program today is entitled Quest for Health, and it's about my 30-year search for health and thinness. I was born in 1939 in a northern Michigan town called Lewiston, and this puppet reminds me of how I used to be. My mother says that I hardly moved around. She dressed me up in a pretty dress, and I didn't get dirty. And I was very inactive. I was very lethargic and lazy. And as I grew up, I was, again, tired a lot and lazy, and I had a lot of respiratory infections, and I was always at the doctor's. But mainly, I had crabbiness and laziness that was hard for my family to cope with. As I got older, my parents had trouble with me in the discipline area. We didn't know what was causing it, and I got the paddle a lot, the switch, the hairbrush, because of my schizophrenic mood swings. I had a lot of cravings for sweets, and I would eat just enough vegetables and the things that my mother gave me so that I could have dessert. But my biggest problem was the fatigue. I wouldn't even go outside because I was always so tired. And Mother used to say, go outside and get the stink blown off of you, but I never felt good enough to go outside and play even. When I was in the 6th grade, I had, well, I believe now that it was hypoglycemia. I was out of school for 6 weeks, and back in those days, penicillin was the wonder drug. And when they couldn't find what was wrong with me, I had a series of, I'd say 60 or 70 penicillin shots during that winter. Well, I finally recovered, but I had a long-term effect from the antibiotics that I'd had at that time and the series that I had later on. The spoon reminds me that I was always a compulsive overeater. I always would eat until my pants were unbuttoned and about that far apart because I just never seemed to get full, and we didn't know why. And of course, I had a resulting weight problem because of it. And I remember even in the 7th grade, starting to diet. My girlfriend and I would carry a diet drink. I think it was some kind of condensed milk and Karo syrup to school, diet that we found in a magazine trying to lose weight. I tried everything that would come along. I have, all of these years, tried many diets trying to lose weight because I always had an overeating problem and then, of course, an overweight problem from that. I remember in college learning to smoke. I didn't like smoking, but someone said you can lose weight by smoking and drinking coffee, but it didn't work. The reason why you do seem to lose when you smoke cigarettes is that it dehydrates your cells. Of course, you have wrinkles when you smoke then. So I smoked for 7 years, but I still had a weight problem. I took diet candies and diet drinks, and when I was in my late teens, I got a prescription for first thyroid, and then somehow it got switched over to amphetamines, and I proceeded to take amphetamines, diet pills, or speed, as they call it today, for the next 20-some years on a doctor's prescription. And what kind of damage that did to my body, I don't really know. I know I still have trouble with insomnia, because anyone that takes diet pills knows that you have trouble sleeping. Well, I tried alcohol, and I was on Valium for a while. I had a lot of problems with my personality still. The children that I went to school with would have told you that they wouldn't have voted for me if they would have nominated me for anything because I, again, was crabby. And I think the saying, throw your hat in the door to see if she'll throw it back out, fit me because sometimes I would be nice and sometimes I wouldn't be nice. I went to Central Michigan University and I studied to be a teacher. I remember my motto being, I wanted to make the world a better place for having lived there. And I knew from all of my bad behavior and schizophrenic mood swings that I hadn't been making it a very nice place to live. And so that was my life goal was to make the world a better place. I knew from the time that I was a little girl that I wanted to be a teacher. I would line my dolls up when I had the energy, my teddy bears up, and write on the chalkboard, pretending I was a teacher. I also wanted to be some kind of a star, because I remember pretending I was Sonia Henney when I was ice skating, and I always wanted to be famous, I suppose you'd say back then. I suppose a lot of people have that wish. But I really should have ended up in the trash can, because I got tireder and crabbier and lazier and harder to get along with and more addicted to cigarettes and the diet pills and the other things that I was doing to myself. I remember in college, I wouldn't eat all day trying to lose weight, and then I'd end up at the candy counter at night and load up on candy bars and cigarettes, because cigarettes, American cigarettes, as it says in the Sugar Blues, has the paper has sugar in it, and so that's another thing that makes them addictive. I didn't end up in the trash can, like Elmer, the trash can man that I sing about in my TV programs called Barbara Dewey's Good News Show. And I'll tell you why. One day I was watching a Billy Graham crusade, and he told how to become a Christian. And so that's what I did. I became a Christian through a Billy Graham crusade. And one of my favorite verses was Jeremiah 33:3, which was, "Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not." And so that's what I did. I wanted to know why I was crabby all the time, and why I was tired and had so many personality problems. Well, I graduated from college. I'd been valedictorian, and I graduated cum laude from college as a teacher. It wasn't that I was brilliant. I was not at all. I was just an average student. I studied very hard. But with my personality problems, I think that I tried to make up for the way I was by being an overachiever. I thought if I got all A's in school and was, like I said, valedictorian and graduating with honors, it would be a redeeming quality. Also, at the same time, during these years, I've learned to play 10 different musical instruments, and I guess I thought maybe I would be more valuable to as a friend or whatever if I had some different talents. Of course, it doesn't work that way. But then I came to Alma, Michigan to teach, where we live now, and I taught there, and I met my husband, and he was studying to be a funeral director. So the next year, we got married, and we went to Milwaukee, and I taught school there. And still having all of these problems, I caused my husband a lot of grief, I know, with my mood swings. Sometimes I'd be nice and sometimes not. Had a lot of depression and crying spells. Then I had my first child, and I gained a lot of weight. If I didn't have a weight problem before that, I really had a weight problem after she was born. The doctor said I was so fat that she couldn't grow. And it was after that time that I went to a local diet club. And the best thing that I learned there was about sugar. I read The Sugar Blues by William Duffy. If you haven't read it, you really should read it. On the back, you'll see pictures of William Duffy before and after. His puffy face turned into a very handsome face. This is Gloria Swanson's husband. And this book changed my life because I found out that sugar was making me crazy, as they say.